everybody, I'm 17's Elaina Rusk alongside our entertainment expert Rick Bentley, and we have another edition of Rick's Picks. Usually we do a top 10, sometimes a bottom 10.
Right.
Just a pick of 10 things that Rick thinks we should be chatting about. We have done a beautiful tribute to the life and legacy of actors that we have lost or ones that we know will no longer be performing. Today we wanted to talk about musicals because the second part of Wicked is now streaming for people to enjoy at home. I didn't take my girls to see it in theater because the first one was pretty scary at the end with the monkeys.
And I told you that I told you when I did my review. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was worth seeing, but it was also nice to be able to control it at home with the remote. So as a result, I was waiting to see the second part of Wicked, and that got us talking about musicals. And so Rick, you sent me your list of 10 musicals people should see before they die.
Yep.
And I thought, I love this list, but I have a completely different list. And so we're doing the top 20 musicals that we think, as experts, you should see.
You know, and I get into this discussion all the time when I'm talking to people about, you know, well, you picked 10 things and I only like 3 of those. And it's like, well, that's great.
That's great.
We shouldn't all like the same movies. And so it's nice when there's some match up, and I hope we do have a few that match up. But otherwise, it's great to have 20 possible, because we could have gone on for the top 500 musicals.
Right.
There's some great ones out there that I didn't even get to mention, but hopefully you'll mention some of them. But there'll be some that both of us will skip over.
Exactly, and many of these started on stage in Broadway and went to movies. A few of them started as movies and then went to stage, and we'll mention those as we go.
Well, you've queued up the first one, haven't you?
I have indeed. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is Hairspray.
Hairspray.
That came out in 2007. The irony of this is that the original John Waters movie, which came out in 1988, just bombed.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything at the theaters, so somebody decided to make a musical of it. So it went to Broadway, it was a smash hit. And it's that musical from Broadway that became the movie that I like so much. And what I like about this film is it's the John Waters quirkiness that I've loved in all his movies. It's got great music you remember. One of the reasons I will put something on a top 10 list is if it has a lot of memorable music. And I think, you know, this film is just full of it. Nikki Blonsky played Tracy Turnblad in this, and John Travolta had a role in it. I just thought the film worked on every level. I did like the original film, but I'm kind of weird.
It's a fun one. When I saw John Travolta as the mother, I was like, wow. Obviously, he can sing, he can dance. He was a star in Grease and many others.
Yeah.
But it was just, he owned that role. He knocked it out of the park. It was funny, but it wasn't one that I wanted to see over and over again. We had it here at Stars Theater a year or two back. So I went to go see it because I love it on stage, but the movie just didn't really do it for me. I love that you did enjoy it, though.
Yeah, but I like the music enough. I have the CD that I will play over and over again. So it's the music really that works for me.
This is really good sing-along music.
Well, what's your 10?
So my number 10, I went with Rent. I think
okay.
it's one of those classics, especially on stage. There is a movie version that's okay. I think on stage it's one of those classics in Broadway that you need to see before you die. There are several hit songs that's set in New York City's gritty East Village talking about these bohemians who are having a hard time paying their rent and in the 1980s dealing with the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heart-wrenching moments. There's a lot of rawness and reality. You know, people think of New York City as being the land of opportunity, and really so many people suffer and so many people struggle. And I love that this musical captured that with some great hits along the way. I just think it's a powerful piece that's worth seeing.
Yeah, I would have easily, if this had been a top 20 list for me, would have put it in my top 20. I just barely knocked out. I'm not as knocked out by, I don't think it has as many musical hits as my Hairspray does.
Yes.
And so that's why I would give it the edge over that.
Yeah.
And I also feel like in rewatching the film, it does feel a little more dated.
Yeah.
You know, Hairspray was actually set in a different time, so it doesn't become dated. I think Rent feels a little bit dated.
Yeah.
So, and that's the only reason I would push it out of the top 10.
And especially for a generation who didn't grow up in the 80s, realizing how scary AIDS was at the beginning and how much it took over our world. Much like COVID, my children were infants, and so they're not going to remember, like, why was it so scary? It wasn't a big deal. Oh, at the time it was, and that's how AIDS was in the 80s. Yeah. Okay, so that's fun talking about number 10. Let's move on to number 9.
Number 9 is Wicked.
Wicked.
You know, when I saw the original stage production of this, I really felt like the first act was the strongest of the two. I was really ready to go home after that first act. And so when you do the films, they split it. The first act is Wicked. Second act is the second film. And I feel like Wicked by itself could have been the standalone. It's still strong, has all the great Defying Gravity songs and Popular and all that sort of stuff. I just felt like that it caught all the magic of the first one and didn't have to deal with all sort of the second, which was it really sort of fell into more political things, got away from the the strongest part about it is Glinda and Elphaba together, and in the second act in the second film, they're not as much together. So Wicked, to me, the first one is the one that should be at number 9.
And I like both the movie version and the stage production. I haven't been able to see the stage production, but my mom's been 3 times. She loves it so much, and especially if you can get to be able to experience the Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, Broadway stars, royalty even. The two of them together, so magical. I like though seeing it on a big screen because there's so much more you can do. The animated animals, the scenes, the costuming, the backgrounds. It looked like it was all AI. I don't know how much of it was real set and how much of it was CG.
You know, even those fields where you see them running through, those were all planted.
Wow.
I mean, so there was a lot of practical in the original, and that earns credits for me.
It does, and it's beautiful. The flying monkeys, again. So that's why I love talking about musicals, because there's so much that you can only do on stage and so much you can only do in movies.
Exactly. Well, what about your number 9?
So my number 9, I went with The Sound of Music, a classic, right? Julie Andrews. You have to. It's just one of those you need to see. It's such a kind of American classic. It just, even though it was it combined Rodgers and Hammerstein's iconic songs with a story of faith, love, and resilience. It's about Nazi-occupied Austria. So I'm like, how is that American? It's because this was an American production, and it just became so. The Sound of Music is songs that everybody knows. I don't know how to put it into words. I wrote this so long ago. It's just something I think you should see.
Well, it has all the elements.
That's what
it
I'm
really
trying
does.
to say.
It has it from the very opening scene of Julie Andrews spinning around on that mountaintop. You know you're in for something special. And there's a reason that Sound of Music gets shown every year.
Yes.
It's because it remains popular. Again, talking about things being dated, that's another example of a musical that's set in a certain time period, so it doesn't ever feel dated. You could do that production in 100 years from now, and you'd still be set in that time period. So I think that's why it worked. And again, you've got Julie Andrews.
Yes.
I mean, goodness gracious, the queen of just music. I can just listen to her voice forever. So it has everything going for it. Although my one little thing of it is there's sort of, the kids are maybe a little too young for some of the romantic part of it. But,
True.
But I'll forgive it.
Yeah. It's just something that you need to see. I don't have enough words to explain why I love it, just because I always have.
Well, you know, there's nothing wrong, because I do have this conversation with people about, well, what's your favorite film? And they'll say something, and well, why do you like it? I just love it.
Yeah.
And they can't explain it, but they just, and it's like, okay, I get that. You know, it's okay. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I get paid to explain why I like it. But it's okay for you to just say, I love it. It just me, And it could go back to a memory of when you saw it, or it could be anything, 1,000 different things. Yeah. The fact that it remains dear in your heart is important.
Yeah, and me, it's just the memory of watching it with my grandmother and how much she loved it and how much she wanted to be Julie Andrews. Yep. And so I think that's a lot of it, is the emotions tied up in real life to this story.
We need to get to a break real quick, but I want to get to my number 8, which is My Fair Lady.
Okay.
It's from 1964, based on the stage play Pygmalion.
Yes.
I love anything with Audrey Hepburn in it. I will watch 1,000 times. It also has just, I Could Have Danced All Night, Wouldn't It Be Lovely, Give Me the Church on Time. Again, all those great musical songs. So My Fair Lady is a solid number 8 for me.
It is just fantastic. I was somewhere, for my number 1, I'm getting a chance to take my daughter to go see my number 1, and we'll announce that at the end of this broadcast. but somebody said, oh, that's a good one. Have you seen My Fair Lady? And that was, she went on and on about why it was her favorite. It was my grandmother's favorite. It's one of those classics I absolutely agree you should see. It would be on my top 10, but because it was on your top 10, I just left it so we could both talk about how great it is. I had the chance to see it in Sacramento growing up. We have a stage called the Music Circus, and the audience, it's a round stage, and the audience is a 360 degree. And so to see My Fair Lady when they're turning to all of us, and the dancing and the singing and the costume changes and running up and down the aisles, it was so delightful. It made it just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, anytime you can be pulled into actually feel like you're part of the production, that's a winner.
It's a winner indeed. So jumping into my number 8 quickly, Mary Poppins.
Oh, yeah.
Again, you know, Julie Andrews in that title role, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Just there are certain parts of whimsy, there are certain parts of just real raw emotion. It's kind of silly the way the parents act, and it makes the kids not so silly, even though they have this silly flying nanny. It's just absolute magic and one of Disney's classics.
Yeah, and remember, see the original one with Julie Andrews, not the remake. Although the remake was okay.
It was okay.
I just say the one with Julie Andrews is the one to see.
To remake a classic to me is so strange. Emily Blunt was great, and it was nice, but I want the classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, we'll jump to break.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to another edition of Rick's Picks. We're talking our top 10 favorite musicals each, so a top 20 of the musicals you should see in your lifetime. What is your number 7?
I'm going with Grease from 1978. One, because it's got great music. It's a perfect casting. I think Travolta was wonderful in it. I thought I fell in love with Olivia Newton-John.
Everybody did.
With that performance. I also feel like if we go back and look at the release of Grease, it triggered this revival of musicals. We'd gone through about 2 decades there where people weren't doing musicals anymore. Grease comes along and suddenly, oh, that will work. Audiences will come if it's a good one.
Yeah.
And so I give Grease credit for both having wonderful music, having a great cast, and being a real factor in bringing back musicals, of a genre that I love.
And this is one of those musicals that so many people grew up with, or it hit in their 20s and 30s and they just loved it. I don't like Grease, and I am definitely in the minority here. I thought they looked too old to be playing teenagers. I thought much of what they were doing, smoking and all that stuff,
Yeah,
was...
but did you watch Beverly Hills 90210?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was a little too young for
Okay,
that, but
all
they
right,
were too old to be teenagers as well.
Yeah, they were getting senior citizen rates. And
Right.
everything, yeah, so.
I didn't really like the glow up. She went from being this sweet girl in a poodle skirt to skin tight leather because she fell in love with a boy. I don't like the idea of changing for a boy. The music is too like meh. Like I don't like it. It doesn't speak to me. But I am definitely in the minority. If you love it, good, you should. And it is a classic, and so many people love it.
And you know there's a conspiracy out there about it.
Is there?
Yeah, that a lot of people are saying now that actually they're both dead through the whole movie. That's that John Travolta's character and Olivia John. You know, they talk about, they sing at the beginning, you know, I went swimming anyway, that they drowned. And at the very end, you know, when they fly off in their car to the heavens, that's them going up to heaven. That's a conspiracy theory.
I enjoy that you know these random facts on the internet.
It scares me.
So with that, because I don't like Grease, I wanted to talk about another one that I think is a classic that you should see if you can. And my number 7 is Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago. So I haven't had the chance to see the stage production, but I have seen the movie.
Right.
I thought when I looked at Chicago, I had the chance to dance the Bob Fosse. He was the choreographer for this. We did a number for that in one of my recitals, Jazz Hands. He just had such an iconic style, and he's just such a great American choreographer. So to get to dance in his style was so much fun as a teenager. And I thought I had remembered the 2002 musical film being a flop, but it wasn't. Looking back through the records, it was a major success at the 75th Academy Awards in 2003. It won 6 Oscars, including Best Picture that year.
Right.
I don't remember musicals very often winning Best Picture.
I think it's only happened about 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
I mean, it's a rarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sci-fi is probably more rare, but yeah.
really, sci-fi is so great.
Yeah,
it
I know.
should win more Best
It's only in
Pictures.
recent years that they've sort of given a nod to sci-fi.
More to sci-fi, interesting. So on stage, the production was directed and choreographed by Bob Fosse, and it ran for 936 performances.
Wow.
It has a bit more of a adult kind of theme. It's two women and escaping their husbands and murder and Mr. Cellophane. And it's that fun, jazzy nightclub, just epitome of Broadway. And I love it. And so I went back and watched the film. And I remember loving the film. I hadn't seen it in a couple years, so it was fun to see it again. And then also see that it got such recognition from Hollywood at the time.
Yeah, I like the film. The only reason I wouldn't have put it on my top 10 is, and although she was one of my favorite interviews of all time, I didn't feel Renee Zellweger was great casting in this.
Yeah.
And I thought she pulls it down a little bit. Again, I will go back and say, as an interview, it's one of my favorite of all time, but I just felt like she was wrong for this part.
Yeah, I didn't see her 100% in that role, but Catherine Zeta-Jones, she knocked it out of the park. Yeah,
exactly.
She was amazing. And Richard Gere, I wouldn't have cast, but I thought he did well.
Yeah.
So then let's go on to your number 6.
Singing in the Rain from 1952.
Such a good one.
It is such a great film. If people haven't seen it, it's sort of a behind the scenes of Hollywood. But when you say Singing in the Rain, people are automatically remember the Gene Kelly performance of Singing in the Rain.
And jumping up on the light
that
pole.
may be the most iconic movie scene of all time.
Yes.
But it's just one of many. I mean, it also features Debbie Reynolds and a performance by Donald O'Connor, a musical dance performance that defies physics.
Yes.
I have never seen anybody, and it's all done practical. And so just that, great music, but again, just when you create a scene that's so memorable, that all you have to do is flash that one scene and you know everything about that makes it an easy pick for my top 10.
Exactly. I completely agree. This would have been on my top 10, but because I had already started making my own list, a big nod. I think that should be on one of those that you see, but I had to pick something else.
Yeah, what is yours?
I went with Hamilton. And I don't really like Hamilton. Isn't that so funny?
I hate Hamilton.
So I put it on my list, even though I'm not a huge fan. I think it's because I was late to see it. It obviously ran on Broadway. It started in 2015. I didn't realize it's already been 10 years. But it was obviously this stage musical by American composer and lyricist Lin-Manuel Miranda, who has soared to popularity.
Well, because of that, yeah.
He is incredible, so talented. The work that he does, it started at the Public Theater off Broadway in New York City before then moving to Broadway for a second opening, based on the life of Alexander Hamilton. But it was explosively popular because, like Bridgerton, which Hamilton came first, they said, what if the founding fathers were people of color?
Yeah.
And what if we could see ourselves in this government? And so it's all real characters, the real founding fathers, but humanizing them in touching and inspiring ways. American history can be kind of boring. Alexander Hamilton's story isn't the most captivating of our founding fathers, but the music is incredible. It soared to popularity. It launched so many careers. The King and his performance, the only white guy, and he just steals the show with his one performance because it's so funny. And again, that's all credit to Lin-Manuel. But I think it's one of those that you have to see, even though I saw it once and that was enough for me.
Here's my problem with it. I feel like Hamilton is one you have to see in a theater.
Yeah.
I saw it only on television.
Me too.
Yeah, when it was shown there. And I feel like it's the staging of Hamilton that's almost 80% of why people love it so much. I have no problem with the what if storyline like that. I will tell you this. When I watched it, I'm mad at myself for not putting on the closed captioning because the dialogue is so fast.
It's so fast.
I was not picking up on. I'm sure there were a lot of parts of the story that I just wasn't picking up on, which is on me. I'm not saying it's wrong for what they did. When you get to a certain age, you start losing part of your hearing and all that sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I just feel like Hamilton is one that really should be seen in the theater and not necessarily on a small screen because I just don't think that does it justice. And that's why I wouldn't have put it on even a top 20 list for me.
And for me, I liked it because I did see it on Disney Plus during the pandemic. They put it up for us, and it was filmed on stage, and Lin-Manuel is in it. He is no longer performing, even though you can catch Hamilton live in many cities. I wanted to see it with him. And so I like that it's accessible, and it's something you should see, even if you're one of those. I have friends who play the soundtrack every day, and I have people like me who saw it once, and that's good.
Yeah, I am not going to say it wasn't a big tentpole in theater. It didn't hit me right.
For me. Exactly. With that, we'll go to break and be back with our top 5. All right, welcome back. We are halfway through our list of top 20 musicals you should see before you die. Rick has his top 10. I have my top 10. I want to jump right into number 5. Do you want to start?
I do. because Bye Bye Birdie from 1963 is one of my favorites.
Yes.
It is a musical. Anytime it's on, I will watch it over and over again. It's with Dick Van Dyke, Cheetah Rivera, and Margaret. For those of you who don't know the story, it was sort of a takeoff on the Elvis story, when Elvis was headed off to war when he got drafted, when he went overseas. This was about a famous music performer who's going off, and there's a contest held to give him one last kiss before he goes overseas. And then it becomes a whole situation with the Ed Sullivan Show, and it's so much of a work. And Margaret plays the young girl who has been selected to give Conrad Birdie his last kiss. The music is great. It just has so much going for it. And I also, full disclosure, I'm a little impartial because I once interviewed Anne Margaret.
Yeah.
And she was one of those great interviews. It was amazing to talk to her because you would ask her questions like, Anne, what was it like working on Bye Bye Birdie? And she would go, well, it was really kind of, and so you found yourself doing that, leaning into
towards her.
And I realized, oh, that's what she would do. She would draw you into it. So I have a little crush on Anne Margaret, and I think a lot of people
most
did.
do.
But again, that musical just works. It's lively, it's fun. And in fact, if you go to Universal Studios, you can actually see where it was shot. The courthouse there is the same one that's used in Back to the Future. So everything about it works for me. So I should, if there wasn't 4 other musicals I love more, Bye Bye Birdie would have been my number 1.
And I'm sad to say I've never seen it. It's one of those, right? You're like, of course I've seen it. And then I was watching the trailer preparing for this piece, and I thought, I've never actually seen it. I think I've seen clips because growing up as a dancer, you study so many different musicals that have dancing. And I know the songs, but I've never seen it beginning to end. So with your recommendation, I really want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, you have to. And please don't get the Jason Alexander version that came later.
No.
Yeah, go back and find the Dick Van Dyke one. And I'm surprised you haven't seen it because Bye Bye Birdie is one of those musicals that almost every high school will do eventually.
Yes.
It's been going on for years and years, so it's hard to believe that somebody hasn't drugged you to see one. I don't know how many people we got talking about new movies. He said, when I was in high school, I played Conrad Birdie, or I played, it's like, everybody did Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah, it's such a classic. My high school did South Pacific,
Oh, yeah.
which was such a random one, but again, on the high school circuit.
Which could have very well been on my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're so fun. So for my number 5, I went with Newsies.
I like Newsies.
And I think we were talking about sentimental value earlier. I think it's because I grew up with this movie. It was debuted in 1992 with Christian Bale as the star. Who knew that this English actor could sing and dance? Well, Disney knew.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I think it is beautiful. I have always wanted to be a journalist, and so I loved newspapers. I actually started in newspapers, and so being a young girl wanting to be a journalist, I fell in love with the movie Newsies. It started as a movie in 1992 and then became the Broadway stage production in 2012, and the Broadway musical was highly acclaimed. It won 2 Tony Awards for Best Original Score by Alan Menken and Jack Feldman, and Best Choreography, which I love. When you can get Best Music and Best Dancing, you've kind of hit the jackpot of a musical. That's what you're supposed to do. I had the joy of seeing it here in town at the Ovation Theater a year or 2 ago. And if you haven't been to that theater yet, it used to be called the Spotlight. It's so small and intimate, but the talent we have in this town, they fill that room, and you are blown away. I'm seeing Prince of Egypt coming up in a couple weeks there, and I can't wait. If you love musicals, if you just love live acting, please go to that theater along with Stars and Bakersfield Music Theater, the Melodrama. We just have so much incredible talent. You will not get a bad show. You don't even have to see what's on the ticket. Just go and you'll enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than experiencing live theater.
Yes.
I get it. We're talking about musicals made into movies, and I get that, and that's my heart and soul. But something about sitting in that theater and feeling the music pour over you.
Yes.
Just from the opening crescendo, it's like, oh, this is going to be something special.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bad musical or a bad regular play, there's that enjoyment of just being with a bunch of people experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like the movies. There's something
different.
completely different because the movies doesn't wash over you like the way it does. A live theater does.
Yeah. I was thinking Project Hail Mary. There's several big blockbuster moments, and I just thought, I'm so glad I'm in a theater to see this and not just at home. That's how I feel about musicals. I enjoy them at home, but I really want to be in a theater for it.
And there's a little bit of NASCAR
Yes.
to me, in that you're always waiting for maybe somebody's going to mess up. And, you know, we don't like wrecks and car wrecks, but come on, when there's a wreck, you go, okay, that's cool.
And sometimes I love when you see them mess up and you see how they cover.
Oh, yeah, it's like, okay, we messed up, let's keep going. Yeah, yeah.
The show must go on.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, with that, let's jump into number 4. Mine is a classic, Les Mis.
Oh.
Les Miserables. It's one of the most popular musicals on Broadway. I think you can see it at any point somewhere in the world. It came to the big screen with a star-studded cast in 2012. It's a 19th century French story about the revolution, redemption, justice. It has one of those incredible scores. Every single song is amazing. Hugh Jackman is a musical theater star, and he stole the show with this. Wolverine, right? How can you go from Wolverine
that always
to
boggled
Jean
me.
Valjean?
Yeah,
Just amazing. But it was nominated for 8 Oscars, including Best Picture. In the end, it won 3 Academy Awards, including one for Anne Hathaway, and she really did shave her head in that scene. It was one take, and the raw emotion and the power. It's one of her best performances. It's one of the best I've ever seen for a musical. I just adored it. And so I've seen it, thankfully, off Broadway a couple years ago when I was in college. I've now seen it many, many times on TV.
And it's a good one to see live. I mean, there really is a power to this. The only thing that kept me off the top 10 for me was Russell Crowe.
He was a strange casting.
He was an awful casting.
Yeah.
I mean, as good as Anne was, he was that bad.
Yeah.
And he kept knocking me out of the production. And so what I agree with you, the music is incredible, the story is incredible. It's that when you have that bad an actor, that bad a casting, it just ruins it for me. And so I blame Crowe for my not putting it on the top 10.
And I think maybe I gave him grace because I love the musical so much that I just kind of look over him. But also, I don't think I dislike his acting style. Maybe I'm easy to please. A lot of people hated his version of Robin Hood. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
I didn't.
So yeah, it's just it's personal preference, and that's why again we chat about these lists, but it's our list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so continuing my list at number 4 is An American in Paris.
Such a good one.
Again, I probably could have put 10 Gene Kelly movies on here, but it's Gene Kelly and Leslie Caron. Oh my gosh, what an incredible dancer! It was directed by Vincent Minnelli, who is, Liza Minnelli's father. Just an amazing, amazing direction. It's got songs by George and Ira Gershwin, like "I've Got Rhythm." It's wonderful, and so it is really one of those productions that just seeing Kelly move in this. It's told through dance, constant dance, including an 18-minute finale.
Yes.
And so that alone, if you just don't want to sit through the movie, go to the very end and watch the last 18 minutes. It is just, if you could ever say, well, what does music look like? It would be An American in Paris.
American Paris. And that finale was what would have put it on one of my lists as well. But I had to branch out because you already had it on your list.
Okay, that's
I love that. So with this, again, we are all happy, all positive, but it keeps getting better from here. We're going to take a break and come back with 3 and 2, and then our number 1 each.
You got it.
Welcome back to another edition of Rick's Picks. Today we're talking about our top 10 favorite musicals that we think you should see. I have many others that could have made this list. Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, yeah.
Right, a classic. But I had to narrow it down to 10, so this is how we came. My number 3, we're now to our top 3s, Moulin Rouge. So many people hated this movie. I loved it. Again, I love musicals. I love singing and dancing. I love Ewan McGregor. It came out in 2001. It's set in the year 1899 as Christian, a young English writer, comes to Paris to follow the Bohemian Revolution. Maybe because I love Les Mis so much, I have a love for Moulin Rouge. It starts with this kind of uptight writer being introduced to absinthe. And so as he's drinking this hallucinogenic alcohol, he starts kind of spinning into this crazy world. And so I love the way it's shot. It's just so chaotic. And then everything stops when he sees Satine for the first time, played by Nicole Kidman. And the way the cinematography pulls you into her, and her acting as she is fighting tuberculosis through this, the way so many different side characters have different roles. The whole thing is meant to be this psychological and drug-addled trip And so I like that it's kind of this chaotic movie, a lot like the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio that was kind of crazy. A lot of people hate that. I love that it branched out, that it was so different. And it became so popular with the can-can and all this that it now still plays in Paris every day.
Yeah. Well, I liked it, but here's the big problem I had with it. There's no original music.
Yeah.
It's all modern classics.
Mashups.
That's why something like Mamma Mia would make my list.
Yes,
Because that's
same.
not original music. I like musicals that really do give us new music and new scores. And to that end, it was great music. The music is performed well. I have no problem with that. But when you're trying to designate why something should be on a top 10 list, I think original music should be a big part of that. And in this case, it's just not there. I mean, it's all mishmash. So I would not put it on a list just because of that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of movies like, again, Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. It's not on my list. I didn't really like the movie. I've never seen it on stage. But it's amazing music, so I'm just going to listen to ABBA.
Exactly.
Right? I don't really like the storyline of this hippie mom and the girl doesn't know her 3 dads. It's tragic and heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But if you love it, you love it. And good for you.
Exactly. All right, so we're up to my number 3?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go with Life is a Cabaret, my friend.
Oh, you have to do Cabaret on a list.
Oh, 1972. Liza Minnelli was just amazing in this. This is, again, what we had talked earlier about the Bob Fosse.
Yes.
Who I think is one of the amazing choreographers of all time. He does Cabaret. It is such an amazing story that's set in Germany during the war. Again, talking about being timeless because of the time set in a different time period. Joel Grey is incredible in this. There are just these great moments in it. But Liza Minnelli's performance and the singing in this is just, it's something that just, it hooked me. It may be the musical that hooked me on musicals.
Yeah.
It has just, it's just amazing. I wish I should have brought a thesaurus to give me a bit more words for amazing, but it's just amazing.
Like we were talking about off the top, if you love it but you don't have enough words to explain why you love it, I think Cabaret, and likewise on my short list was A Chorus Line. I think those two are just such classic Broadway pieces that you should see. Cabaret is a little bit higher because of Liza Minnelli.
Yeah. And I love Chorus Line too. It would be in my top 20, but yeah, Liza Minnelli just sold that.
Just stole the show, and a reason she's a star. So now we're going to go to your number 2 because it explains my number 2.
Okay, my number 2 is West Side Story from 1961.
Yeah.
I would bet up front that Natalie Wood wasn't the perfect person to play a Puerto Rican,
Yes.
but it's Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just thought she was amazing. Look, everything about this, from the choreography by Jerome Robbins to the music, I mean, how many of us have been talking, you know, we get West Side Story, oh, da-da-da-da-da. You know, we immediately go to that.
Yes.
It's Leonard Bernstein and lyricist Stephen Sondheim, everything going for it. But again, I will admit that Natalie Wood was not the greatest of casting, and but I still feel the film is great, and I would assume a film that has a different casting might even be better.
Yeah. So with that, my number 2, I wouldn't have placed it this high on my list, but I wanted to talk about the new version of West Side Story coming out in 2021, I believe it came out. It won the 2022 Oscar for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role for Ariana DeBose. Her dancing, her singing, as the second actress in this, she stole the show. It's a Romeo and Juliet story, and so the supporting actor who plays kind of the Mercutio role, I can't remember what the name is in West Side Story, he stole the show as well. I liked the new version because I thought the cinematography was better, I thought the lighting was better, I liked the sets. It's a story that deals with rape, and it deals with gangs, and it deals with, again, the heartbreak of the poverty of New York City. And so I think it's a story that you should see. I do like the 1960s version better. Yeah. But I wanted to talk about the new version because a lot of people hated it. They thought there was no dynamic relationship between the two leads. I saw it because I've seen the Broadway production and know that it's this tense. It's not like Romeo and Juliet where we just fell in love against our will. They're constantly torn apart and keep coming together. It really kind of tells that Shakespeare story beautifully. And so I really liked the new version, and so I wanted it on my list. I wouldn't have put it at number 2, but I didn't want to mention it earlier and ruin your mention of your number 2.
That's fine. And I will say the only reason I wouldn't have put it on a list is it was directed by Spielberg. And I really felt like he did too much shot for shot from the original film. If you're going to remake something like that, I get it. There are certain things, if you're doing the play, you have to keep. But you didn't have to really do it as close to the original. I really feel like he just sort of took it easy with
Tried
this.
to make it
I would have,
scene for
I would have
scene.
preferred him to modernize it even more. So I hold that again. I always talk originality.
Yeah.
When we talk about the films that had just not using original music, that's the same thing here. I thought the look is great, but it seems very familiar, and so that is why I would not put it on a top 10.
They held it back.
Yeah.
But again, West Side Story, the original, is such a classic. And with that, we'll go to break. We're going to come back with our number 1s each, and we want to hear from you because, of course, you're going to have a completely different list. So we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to another edition of Rick's Picks. Today we were talking about Rick's picks of 10 musicals that you should see in your lifetime. And I thought, I love this list. There's so many on here except for Grease that I completely agree with, that I think you should see. But then I started thinking about how I had a completely different list. So we're talking about our top 20 favorite musicals that we think, especially the American public, should see, something that you should experience for different reasons. I have to hear your number 1.
Well, I have a friend who told me, he says, I have never seen a musical in my life. I am proud of that. And I said, really? You've never seen The Wizard of Oz? And there we go. That's my number 1 pick from 1939.
Such a good one.
I don't know if there's enough kudos in the world to talk about this film. It really changed movie making forever. It was a fantasy production based on incredible books. If you haven't read the Baum books, you should track them down. And there's more than just one. But the writing is amazing. Just talking everything from the casting of Judy Garland, who was not the original casting. They couldn't get Shirley Temple, so they went with Judy Garland.
Fascinating.
The fact that they changed the ruby slippers from the books they were silver in the books. They became ruby because they looked better under the lights. All the behind-the-scenes stories of the Munchkins and all that chaos that was going on with them. But just everything and anything about this film works, from the songs we can all. I mean, if you had to make a list of the 10 best songs from movies, Somewhere Over the Rainbow would have to be the number 1 on that, even though they were almost going to cut it from the film.
No way.
There was discussion. They thought that slowed down the scene. They wanted to get to Oz quicker. And they thought, well, we've already shot it, let's keep it, and boom. It became, it is, even when I see other performers sing that song, it just drives this emotion in me. It's such an anthem for what we all should live by. That even when things are bad, even when the tornadoes come bearing down on us and our dog's been taken off, and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, there's a place that there's happiness, and just have to look for that.
Yes.
And that's what I think what the Wizard of Oz does. It talks to us about, you may not feel like you have courage. You may not feel like you are smart enough. All these sort of things. You may not have enough heart. Well, it's there in you. You just got to go find it.
You have to believe in yourself.
And you don't need somebody to tell you it's there. You just go look inside yourself. I mean, I'm getting deeply philosophical about this, but this is a film that I have seen so many times. I've dissected it so many times. And, at the end of it, it always comes back to, it's just enjoyable to watch. It's so much fun. And again, we wouldn't have Wicked without The Wizard of Oz. And so if you see a double feature, those would be great back to back.
Oh, it would, yes.
And so you just, to me, and this is that one film that people, I think, forget it's a musical, but it's a musical from beginning to end.
One of the classics.
And it also gave us, again, a bit of trivia that's in my brain that I can't get rid of. We all wear these T-shirts that have things on them. That is the first time in movies when we actually see those kind of T-shirts.
A logo?
Yeah, because when Dorothy and the group get to Oz and the Tin Man is being cleaned, one of the people cleaning him is wearing a shirt that has a logo on it. That is the first time we've ever seen a logoed shirt. And so from there, we got logoed shirts. So there's so much more about.
What a fun fact.
Yeah, well, that's a worthless fact. It's If I could get that out, I would be a smart man. So, but when it comes to Oz, I'll take in anything and everything in that. It just is magical.
Yep.
There's no other word that fits it better than magical.
And that was when I thought, what are the best musicals of all time? What are things that I think people should see? I immediately thought Mary Poppins and Singing in the Rain and Wizard of Oz. And we talked about, I had Mary Poppins and Sound of Music. So Wizard of Oz is so high up there.
Yeah.
I ordered my list according to where my heart goes.
Oh.
My number one, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh.
So many people don't have the chance to experience opera,
Right.
and it's hard to understand. Most of it is sung in Italian.
Right.
Most of it is, it's powerful. You're watching these people and you're like, how are you singing like that? But you don't know what's going on because you don't speak the language. It's like ballet. You don't have to understand it to follow the story along. But this story is just the dancing, the music, the costuming. I had the joy to see it in the 90s with my mom. It was my first big girl trip away from my brothers and my family as my mom took me to San Francisco and we saw this big girl show. And so for my daughter's 10th birthday, I am taking her to see Phantom at the Pantages, and the chandelier swings out over the audience. And it is just one of the most popular musicals on Broadway. There was a 2004 film adaptation starring Gerard Butler and Emmy Rossum. Both of those, who did you think they could sing like that?
I know.
Especially because Christine Daae is known for having the highest note ever sung in an opera. It's a Gothic musical that when you see it on stage, they have trap doors and they have lights and they have smoke, and it's the dancing and the costuming. It is so beautiful. But then this movie took it to the next level.
Yeah.
You're inside the castle and you have the Hollywood budget to make this magic come to life, and the desperation and the obsession and it's amazing. It's, I think, the best musical of all time. I think it is a classic. It was nominated for 3 Oscars, and it had several other wins at other award shows for Rossum's performance. I named my dog Emmy because I thought she should have won an Emmy. I mean, it's just, to me, it is the be-all, end-all of shows, and I can't wait to see it again this summer. We're so lucky that it's so close to home. LA is a 2-hour trip from here, and it cost an arm and a leg. We had to save up for 6 months, but I can't wait to take her.
Yeah, well, that's going to be one of those lifetime memories, you know that. And if you're thinking about seeing the musical, there is a non-musical version of the Phantom of the Opera out there. Yeah, it's an older film. It's a much older film, but I think people should track it down, watch that. That gives you the story. So when you go in, if you feel like you're getting lost in the music, you can go, wait, I know what's happening here.
Yes.
So it's maybe a little bit of homework, but it'll be worth it. It is an amazing musical.
Cool.
It is romantic. It is heartbreaking. It has imagery you will not forget. And it is always, when done live, staged beautifully.
So good.
So I would say definitely Phantom of the Opera is one to embrace.
Yeah. Oh, I just love it. So with that, that's our top 10, but we had to talk about one that we both agree was a bottom 10. Just one of
Is it
the
worse than
worst,
bottom 10?
Right. It's
Is there,
just
like, if
so
there's
bad.
a bottom 10s of bottom 10s, would we put this on the bottom 10? Yeah. It has to be Cats.
Not the stage production,
No,
because
no.
again, one of the most popular Broadway shows there's ever been. I haven't had the joy to see it, but I hear it's incredible, especially the dancing and the flexibility because they're moving and acting like cats.
Yeah. And I think that's why the film was so bad.
Yeah.
Because I think, and I have not seen the stage production, I've only seen this bad movie. But what I've been told by people who have seen it is there an energy to the way the cats move and they're moving around the stage. It really feels feline-like.
Yes.
And so I think you get that, and that's why it became such a long-running stage production. We get to the movie, and despite the fact it has people like Judi Dench in it, and Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift tried to have her star. I mean, the woman is a musical genius, but she's not a Broadway star.
No, she's not. And so the staging is bad, and maybe the final kiss of death is, they were so rushed or so sloppy that even the makeup, there are scenes where the hands should be painted to be cat-like, and they're still human hands. And so, stuff like that throws me out of a movie just like that.
Yeah.
Although I was long out of this movie because of just bad staging. The music just didn't have the power that I think it would have in the theater. If this pops up on TV, just find an infomercial, find anything other than watching this thing. It is so bad.
You're recommending infomercials. That is a slight.
That is as bad. And again, this is one we should avoid. I do want to go back over and just say, look, we get it. There are a lot of films we could have put on there.
Yes.
I think Rocky Horror could have been in
Yes.
the top 10. Again,
A cult favorite.
one that people say, I've never seen a musical, and you've seen Rocky Horror? Yes, yeah. La La Land,
La La Land's
which
a
is
good
one
one.
of the...
Won
and-
several awards.
Yeah, and Help, the Beatles film.
Yes, the Beatles
So there's a
film.
lot of movies out there we could have put on here,
Yes.
but when you're limited, and we expanded an hour for this.
We did.
To get 20 in there, there's still a lot more. The idea is, I know some people say, oh, I don't like musicals. We've given you ones that will introduce you to the genre
Yes.
in a very inviting way.
Yes.
Watch Wizard of Oz if you've never, and I can't believe anybody hasn't seen it. It's been shown all the time. But that can get you in, and you realize, wait, I have seen musicals. I do, Grease is fun,
Yeah.
and Grease is the word.
Yeah.
And so there are musicals out there that will, a lot of musicals are hard to get into, and I get that. But find the ones like the ones we've recommended here. Singing in the Rain, if nothing else, just watch it to see just the staging and the dancing. An American in Paris.
Yeah.
If you're a fan at all of dance, that is just, it is the best of the best. So,
Oklahoma was one that
Oh,
almost
yeah.
made my list.
there are a lot of them out
There's
there
so many.
that could very well make our list, but sometimes we're limited. But that's the thing about movies, and that's why I like that we do this. And I should have started this by saying this shouldn't just be called Rick's Picks; it should be Rick's and Elena's Picks, because you're such a part of this anyway.
Thank you.
But I love the idea that we both found different movies, and I will guarantee you, if you and I end up talking to somebody in a few days, they will say, "Look,
Wait about this one.
these are my favorites. You didn't even mention
Yeah.
such and such and such and such." And you're right, we can't mention them all, but the fact that you embrace it. Best Little Whorehouse in Texas is one that keeps
Yeah.
popping up. Every time you start talking about music, you realize, oh wait, there's more.
There's more.
And a lot of times people are just surprised that they've seen more than they think they have seen. And so these are ones. It just just make a list. You don't have to see all 20 of them, but there's 4 or 5 on there that we would pick out that especially our top 5s.
Yeah.
Just try to make an effort to see it, and you'll be entertained.
Yes.
And it may introduce you to a genre that you have shied away from for years and probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah. My husband will do Friday night movie night with our girls, and they wanted to see Newsies because they know that it's one of my favorites. And my husband isn't really into musicals. It's just not his jam. And so he'll kind of sit and play on his tablet or read or whatever. And he ended up watching the whole thing with us. And he goes, I see why you like it. That was really good.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a fan of musicals to enjoy the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing about movies. There's so many different ones out there. There's so many options out there. Just find one you like.
Yep, and this was a subjective list. I love that I got to join you with my own list. We want to hear from you.
Yep.
Find us here at KGET Plus and KGET.com, and we'll meet back to do this again soon.
Sounds good to me.